It is as necessary to have air, water, plants, insects, birds, fish, and mammals, as it is to have brains, hearts, lungs, and stomachs. The former are external organs, in the same way the latter are our internal organs.
Oh,
Wow.
I love that
one.
quote.
I know. It's
That's
by
really
a philosopher
cute.
that I listen to before I go to bed, called Alan Watts. He was English.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know
we
him?
know
He's
Alan
so
Watts.
good, right?
He's
and
really
sometimes he
good.
brings in nature and stuff. He talks about nature a lot because that's all to do with our being, like who we are.
Exactly.
And that one, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, like it gave me
That
shivers.
resonates.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh my
Literally,
God.
so yeah, we love it. Okay, so let's start. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Seedling podcast. We are your hosts, Simone and
Yeah, and today we have a very special guest, Lira. She is a wetland ranger and nature enthusiast and just amazing woman that just does amazing things.
I feel so bigged up.
Yeah,
Thank
oh my
you.
God, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We're just like super excited to talk to you about your passions and your love for nature and how that, resonates with your life.
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. No, I'm super excited. And this is actually my first time being in a podcast room.
Well, we are
I've
honoured.
never been in a podcast. I know. I'm excited.
We are
So
honoured
thank you
to
so
have you.
much.
Yeah.
Thank
well, thank you so much for being here. So, without further ado, who are you?
Well,
you
Outside
could
with
describe
Lira, it started it started last year. Oh my gosh, I keep
Okay,
thinking
so
it's like years ago.
recent.
Recently,
Okay.
it's going to be a year in like September, like a full year. And yeah, it wasn't something like I thought was going to like pop off. I just made an Instagram account Outside with Lira, and wanted to share my passion on there. And then, within a few months, like, it just kicked off. Like, people started enjoying my reels, messaging me for advice about nature. I think they just were really shocked to find someone like me kind of taking up that space.
Yeah.
So that's who Outside of Lira is. Lira and me, I'm just like a normal Croydon girl. Like, from a city London girl. But Outside of Lira is that, just showing my passion.
Okay, amazing.
So much, yeah.
Well, I think you really caught my eye. I think I've been following you for quite a long time.
Yeah,
as well.
how did you guys find me? How did you find me?
Through your reels.
Through your reels.
Yeah.
I think, and I was so inspired and just in awe of you, and I really, really love what you do.
Because you guys like nature as well, isn't it? Like, you guys,
Big nature girls.
Yeah, I love
Big
it.
That's
nature
why,
girls.
like, when we were really stepping into our like nature and how we've like healed with that as well, like that's around the time where like your reels would start coming up, like for our like explore page and stuff like that, and we were like, oh my God, we just want to talk to you. Like, have you on.
And that's what I like about you guys' podcast as well, because you bring in like the nature element, mental health and nature, because it's so connected.
It is. Oh my God.
It is so connected. And womanhood as well. That's what I like. Like all the three best things.
For sure. No, we're so going to talk about that later. Definitely dive into that. But I'm really interested to know, like, has nature always been like a big part of like your childhood? Did you grow up like around that, or is it something that you like craved later on? Like, how did that kind of develop? That
like my
passion?
nature connection was always there. Like from when I was young, I remember like from when I was like crawling around outside on the grass or whatever. Like my mom took me to a park. I just remember being like obsessed with like snails and like and ants and anything moving, like, or ladybirds. Like I would just want to like look at it. I remember that from like earliest memories. But I didn't have access to green. Like I always lived in like flats, blocks. We moved quite a bit, like when I was younger, like from council estate to council estate. So the only like greenery I really had was my grandma's back garden, who had loads of snails. And I remember that's kind of like the first moments where I remember being like super young, but like I want to like learn more about like nature. And yeah, like from then I just like grew up knowing I was going to do zoology, like become a zoologist. So I went to uni, did zoology. It's always been there, but it has been like, I'm making it sound kind of like super easy, but it has been a bit of a roller coaster. There's been challenges and barriers. Like being a city girl, obviously, like there's not much talk about nature. You know, it's not what was cool. Like when I was growing up, no one was really talking about it. In school as well, in education, like you know, you're told like, oh yeah, like get a high paid job in the city, become a banker, lawyer, doctor, which are all really good jobs, but like that's not what I wanted to do. There was no like, this is how you become a ranger. Many people like even our age don't even know what a ranger is.
No, well,
which is fair enough because it's not spoke about. Like,
so true. And I actually, when I would see your reels in the wetlands, because I used to live like in North London, close to the wetlands, and so I remember them. Because I used to go there all the time, and I used to see people like go around on bikes and literally I'd be like, oh my god, what a cool job! Like I love that so much, and it's so crazy that you're literally doing that. And I feel like your like presence, like your social media presence, but also just like your presence, how you are in front of us, is super like. I just feel like it's so like. You make things accessible to people and inclusive, and you make people feel included in your passion. And I really feel like for me anyway, like you've really just sparked that. Like, and I can see the like truth in what you say, and I can feel you're like speaking it from your heart.
It's true.
Because a lot of people, I feel like, say stuff on socials and it's just because you want to say stuff and you think it's going to resonate or whatever, but I can tell it's genuinely from your heart. And it's like so nice to share that with you and to like
I'm so happy
that's
you guys
how
feel that
I feel
way
as well. It's so authentic to you and so real.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you should be really proud of yourself for doing that and for creating a space for people to see all of this. It's really, really amazing.
Thank you. I think when something's your true passion, like it just comes easy to like be authentic in it, isn't it? Like
so
true. Just kind of just do what I like and people are watching.
Yeah.
So true.
Were you gonna say something else?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I also really loved. I just can't stop talking. No, just what you said about being like a child and like being super into like, you know, your snails and like nature and stuff like that. I feel like when you're a kid as well, you're so intuitively pulled towards nature.
True.
Like it's such a big pull, and you're like so disconnected from all like the outside pressures and barriers and whatever. All you're connected is to source.
And this is what I always say, because I work with as a ranger, I work with both children and adults because we do workshops and events to connect people to nature, right?
Wow.
And it's so much harder to connect adults to nature because they have all these blocks in their head, like, oh, like I'm scared of this, or like, which fair enough, or I don't know, they're just thinking about dinner later, or like, you know, as an adult, you have such clouded judgment on things. But when you're a kid, you're so open and like, what's the word you use? Inquisitive? Like you're
like
just
intuitive,
inquisitive, like curious, like wanting to ask questions, and try out new things. So it's so much easier to connect children. And I just believe, like, I was just one child who never kind of got over that curiosity. We all as children like were so curious when we were young, but then life happens, or like you're stripped away of your creativity. Like in school, you know, you got like do exams and like you're told to all dress and look the same, and nature takes a back seat then. But I was just kind of lucky enough, I don't know how, to kind of hold on to that passion and that nature like interest.
Yeah, it's like your inner child. Like,
I'm just one big child. That's why it is.
But that's like the best way to be. I feel like that, like Simone and I, that's like such a big thing that we always talk about, is like connecting to your inner child, because that's always inside you, like those experiences, 100%. That like playfulness and that
I
love.
was gonna say play, and that's one thing Alan Watts always talks about, like living life like it's a play, like having fun, like being a child, and that's like how you create happiness. It's just being your child.
So true. Like I want to be 70, like still frolicking in a field, like like making daisy chains.
For real, that's life.
Yeah, like you shouldn't have to be serious just because you're a certain age. Like I feel like holding on to that inner child is just like so important.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like that when, I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, I really I got quite consumed by, you know, socials and the friends that I had, and I only really fell in love with nature when I grew up more. I mean, I'm still young, but you know, do you feel like that was something that happened to me? Yeah, something that happened to you. Do you feel like you kind of fell back in love with nature, or has it always been?
100%. I definitely fell back because like, so I was a child, I loved nature, snails, blah, blah, blah. And then I would say, when I got into secondary school is when I kind of realised like I was a bit different in that sense. So I would stop making it so obvious that I was like wanting to look at something on the tree or like in the field. Like if I was with my friends, I'm not gonna go stop and look at birds if we're out shopping in like the town centre. Like, so I would suppress it. It was never a topic of conversation anyway. Like we used to just talk about like boy,
Yeah,
like makeup,
classic. Yeah.
makeup, going out, like da, da, da.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like stayed until uni. I would say, even though I was studying zoology, I would say all throughout uni, I wasn't like the person I am now, like so open about my passion. But then I think that also comes, that's also the case for me because I feel like at that time as well, I started to notice that I was different looking compared to most people who were like studying zoology or into nature. You know, it's a very middle class white thing, and obviously I'm not that. So I was really like trying to like, maybe I was like imposter, so suppressing my feelings a bit. Yeah, until recently, until like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So coming out again.
Yeah.
Coming out for
That's
nature.
so nice to hear that you've like blossomed out of that as well, and like
That's
I was gonna say and ask you about, you know, imposter syndrome
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And have you ever faced, you know, I mean, you've got quite a big following now.
Yeah.
How has it been like just presenting yourself as someone that doesn't look like you're, you know, I don't know.
Regular zoologist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not to say that that's a bad thing. It's an
Yeah.
amazing thing. I just, you're creating a space for young women and you're glamorous girly, like you're, do you know what I mean? Like, how does it feel? Like, how has it been?
Yeah.
Have you faced any like challenges?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like, obviously, when I first started posting, I didn't do it to like get a lot. I didn't think I'd get a large following. I thought like no one would be interested. I did it because I wanted to show my friends and family what I did. And also I always used to feel a bit like embarrassed saying I was like a ranger, because as well it's not kind of deemed as like a proper job. And that's a lot of things I heard growing up. Like my friends and family, like, why don't you get a proper job? Leave that as a hobby. So yeah, I kind of created that account and like just to show friends and family, you know, like what I do is actually really cool and important, and there's so much wildlife. So when it did start picking up like lots of followers, at first, I'm not gonna lie, like a bit, I don't know if scared is the word, but a bit like on the edge, overwhelmed. That's it. I was a bit overwhelmed. And, you know, with all the love also came a lot of trolls, and I still get that to this day. People commenting on my accent, like the way I speak, even racist comments, like which I'm so surprised about. Yeah, it's actually crazy how many racist comments I get. It's okay. But so I guess in that sense, like, those are the things that really feed my imposter syndrome, all those trolls. And as much as, like, I obviously get tons of love and amazing people. I get to meet amazing people like you guys. But then, you know, I'm human. So if I do see that one negative comment, it actually really ruins my day. Like, I'm like, oh. So I'm still learning. This is all new to me. Like, I've only been doing this for, like, just almost a year. So I'm still learning how to cope with trolling and stuff.
No,
it's difficult. Like, it's so sad, especially when someone is like commenting on something you can't change. I can't change the way I look, or the fact that, you know, I come from an immigrant family. Like, I can't change that. I'm not gonna change. So people need to get over themselves.
Exactly. I think it's just so important to just stand in your truth and stand strong. And it's easier said than done when you're getting, you know, trolls, texts, whatever. It's horrible, but there's so many people out here that are admiring you and love you, and those people they got nothing better to do. They got nothing, you know. So
honestly, it's sad people. I pity them. I actually pity them. I just want to give them a hug. Like, I want to give you a hug because you obviously have no, like, I don't know, no.
They haven't been open
life.
To anything. And,
exactly.
Clearly been trolled themselves or something.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if that's how you treat other people, like, just think about how they treat themselves, like, internally. It must be a really dark place for them. So peace and love to them. And,
move on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what you're doing is so, like, such important work. And like I said, just like, spreading the awareness, obviously, but also your actual, like, job is so important. Like,
it's true.
Human connection to nature is, like, it's the biggest healer. It's so important, like, for your soul, but also, like, for our, like, planet in general.
But this is what I'm saying.
We are nature, though.
We're part of nature.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand, because I think a lot of people see it as like a hippie thing. Like, I'm trying to be zen, or I'm trying to be like work. But I'm like, no, we actually depend on nature. Like, literally, we are nature.
It's our resources as well. Like,
it's our resource. It's our everything. Like, if we don't look after it, then, like, our well-being will obviously go downhill. So that's what I try to tell people. Like, we're not separate from nature. We are nature. So we actually need to, like, start looking after nature.
So
true. Know?
So on that topic, what do you feel like are some things that need to be addressed in the natural world? Like, are there any problems that you like see and you face daily that no one really knows about that you can share with our listeners? Do you feel like there's anything? It might be a lot.
I was gonna say there's so like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you just step out there and like there's just so much wrong with the way we're living, the way we consume things, the way we waste things. And I'm not perfect. And the thing is, there's no such thing as like the perfect environmentalist. Like, as long as you're a part of society, you're gonna have a carbon footprint. You're gonna waste. You're gonna consume a lot, maybe overconsume. But it's starting to like just shift our consciousness, like shift our mindset, and start just being aware of how we consume things, what we waste, the way we live. And I don't want to put the pressure on us as like individual people, because it is the big corporations that make the biggest mess ups to our nature. It's not us. And they will like to say, oh, but there's demand, but they're the ones that are like pulling out all the resources that can't be replaced. And they're doing it all for profit, all for money, which is something we can't eat. We can't eat money. So, there's so many things. I wouldn't say that for me, there's not one thing that needs like attention more than the others. It's that they're all connected, all these problems. But yeah, I would just say, like, I think the first step, which is something I'm trying to do, is just our connection to nature, like our respect for nature. It's on zero at the moment. Like, again, you step out there into the streets of London and you just see, like, nature is like, nature should be the center of like everything we do. You know, the way we like have relationships and connect with people, connect with ourselves. And at the moment, that's on like, it's not good. I think there's definitely been a shift, especially since 2020. A lot of people realized how important nature was. People started stepping outside more. Even people that never used to step outside, all of a sudden they wanted to go for walks. Nature reserves were packed. You know, it's so busy, which is so good. But I feel like, again, slowly it's kind of like going down. But people are becoming more, especially younger people. The fact that we're all us free, girlies, young, sitting here talking about nature. That's a big thing.
It is.
Yeah, so true. And I feel like this is something Simone and I talked about recently. Is like how nature always reclaims like spaces of like ruin or stuff like that. If you see like big like places where a lot of like disasters happened or stuff like that, nature will always reclaim those spaces. 100%. And we saw that as well through like COVID. People weren't touching and people weren't like throwing waste everywhere, and nature came back so fast. And I feel like that's like, we can learn from that so much. If we just let nature be, it will start to reclaim and start to like rejuvenate and come back. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think we overcomplicate things. We're like, oh my God, there's so much to fix and we need to do this and like make this to fix this. But we don't. The thing is like, rewilding, which is what that's called. Rewilding is like the most. All we have to do, which is hard for us, is like stop and sit back and stop being the center of attention. Like, as humans, it's all about us. Like, we need to stop that and cut that and like let go of our ego and just like realize, we're not the only ones on this planet. So true. We're so important as we want to be. Like, nature is nature will come back if we just step back.
So true, so true.
I love that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see
my
it.
mum's really into rewilding as well. She's always like reading books on it, and like there's this farm called Nep Farm. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, I went there. It's really nice, and there's deers around. I'm like, I don't know if I'm allowed to step around here. But
I know, they got so much stuff.
It's really
They have a really beautiful big bird that was once like found all over the UK called a stork, and you can only really see it in Nep. It's huge, like a huge bird. I don't know how big, but it's probably bigger than us. And they were like shot to like the brink of extinction, like so many other birds, and but then now they've like started to reclaim them back there, and they've got a nice good population. If you go there, you look up, you'll see big storks. It's so nice. So nature will come back, you know. So true. Give it a little push and then it will do its thing.
So true.
Exactly.
I know you've kind of already gone into it a little bit, but what's like the biggest thing you've learned like about yourself through nature or through your connection with nature, or something that nature has taught you?
I feel like the biggest thing is patience. Like, you have to be patient with nature, because like, again, as humans, like, we all think about us and like we want to be the center of attention, and like sometimes I'm going for a walk and I'm gonna see this bird, but like I don't have control over that. That bird is gonna do what it wants to do regardless of me. So it's like going out, and if I see something, I see something. Sometimes you have to wait for a long time. If I want to see, yesterday I saw these, I could hear, I put on my story, a woodpecker nest. So little baby woodpecker, I could hear all the babies. But I wanted to see the mum, come and get that perfect shot of the mum feeding. But you have to be willing to stand around for like half an hour, an hour. And, because of, things like that, nature has really taught me just to be patient. Even with like gardening, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, you have to wait.
Waiting for things to
wait
grow.
for things and nurturing it, you know, like giving and not expecting anything back as well. I think that's another thing. Like, although nature is so giving, you can't expect it. Like, you know, who am I? Like,
so true.
Who am I to expect nature to give me something? Like, just be patient, just wait.
Yeah.
So true.
That's the same. It's the same with, you know, humans as well. Like, I saw this TikTok the other day, and it was like, when you plant a seed and it doesn't grow, you don't think, what's wrong with you? You're, you know, bad, whatever. And but you think about, you know, what did it need? What did it not have that I didn't provide? And it's like actually the same with us and our mental health and
100.
friendships and relationships and everything. It's like, it's so
I've seen
interesting
that as well.
how we think about nature and being patient.
Yeah,
so.
Nature can teach us something. Yeah, we're always so harsh on ourselves. Like, always saying, like, there's something wrong with us. But instead, like, we think, okay, what was in my environment that didn't help? Maybe I needed more support.
Yeah.
Maybe I need more money. No, joking.
Literally.
No.
Money.
Yeah.
But, you know, just little things
so
like
funny.
this. Like, you know, you just have to stop blaming yourself. I'm the worst. I do that all the time. Like, I'm so harsh on myself. You would never. And I think I'm such a kind person, you know. Like, I'm so nice to everyone.
You seem like such a sunshine.
I'm literally, like, I'm not trying to think myself, but I'm a really kind person to other people. But to myself, you would not believe, like, I'm actually such, can I swear?
Yeah.
Such a bitch. I'm such a bitch.
Say what you want there.
Literally. But yeah, I'm learning, like, I'm learning, you know, to be kinder to myself. I guess we all are on a journey.
Yeah. It's a journey, and, you know, it's not easy, but the most important thing is, I mean, obviously being kind to yourself, but that you're aware of others and you know how others feel and how you make them feel as well.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah, so true.
Say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I really want to talk to you about also just like your mental health and how that can be impacted by nature. Because I know we're like super into like healing in nature. That's like a really big part of us and also our friendship. Like whenever one of us isn't doing good, we're like, right, into nature immediately, then we can talk about it or just like reset. You know what I mean?
And I feel like picking berries, like hugging trees. I'm like that. I would love a friendship like that.
Yeah,
like,
come with us,
I'm going to start, like 3 of us.
Literally,
I'm gonna do it because you guys are so lucky.
It's important.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, how has that impacted your mental health? Like, how you. Yeah, how does your connection with nature, like, you know, impact your mental
It's
health?
so weird because, again, like, because I kind of grew up always, like, appreciating green spaces, I didn't ever, like, think, okay, let me go into a green space to help my mental health. It kind of happened the other way. Like, I was already kind of spending time in nature and my mental health was improving. And then I clock that when I'm not in nature, that my mental health kind of goes down. It's like, and I can't explain it. It's like, I feel like nature is kind of like, I don't even want to compare it to a drug, but it's like a drug that has no bad side effects. Like,
so true.
It's something,
like
it has no bad side effects. Like, it gives you, like, you know, because you can, like, resort to alcohol or drugs or other forms of, like, maybe, like, even toxic relationships to make you feel good, and kind of get similar feelings that nature gives for you, because nature is so healing. But a lot of people are not told about it, so they go for the other things, you know. Instead of nature. And nature just, I don't know, it's kind of like a really, especially if you see something really beautiful or like, you know, like a nice sunset or I don't know, but those type of things, they just give you that feeling of euphoria.
So
like you're on a buzz.
But
then no side effects, there's no like downfall to it. So true. You know, and there's no like addiction. Maybe.
Addicted to nature. I don't even think that's a bad thing. No, that's the thing. Like you said, no side effects.
No, so in that way, it really does help my mental health. It doesn't, and I always say to people, because I think people say it's like such a fluffy, fairy topic. Like if I say, oh, like, okay, like you're feeling bad, like go spend some time in nature, and they kind of roll their eyes and like, how's nature gonna help? But I always say, like, I'm not saying nature's gonna get rid of like your debt, like your bad relationship problems or like bring back loved ones or whatever. It's just gonna help alleviate those feelings.
So true.
And help you disconnect for a bit, like from all those feelings, and you're in that moment appreciating a beautiful sunset. Or you've just seen something new, or you're touching grass and you're like, oh my God, that feels like this. Just those things, like, it just help alleviate those problems.
And just bring you into the present moment.
I was going to say, present moment, 100%.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like anxious, going into nature just makes me so aware of what's important and that there's no problems happening in this moment.
Right.
So I don't need to make myself feel unnecessarily stressed or unnecessarily sad, you know, when nothing is wrong right now.
Yeah.
Yes, there might be an issue that I need to face, but
at that moment,
could be, you know, months away or like not even happening, and I just am working myself up about things. So being in nature really grounds
grounding.
everyone.
It puts things into perspective, and I kind of also see it as a way. I also see it as a way, like if I'm really like, you know, going through a tough time, I go outside and I'm looking at the birds or the butterflies or ladybirds. I'm like, these are all just other living things like me. Like I am literally no much more or less than these other things. Like, I'm also breathing in oxygen, letting go, and they're doing exactly the same thing as me, but they're going about their life. It kind of just puts things into perspective. I am literally going to be here just for a little while on this earth, like these things, going about the business, like, okay, I don't know, like I didn't get the job I wanted, or this person's not talking to me, like let it go. You know, these things are not going to matter soon. That ladybird's not thinking about who likes it and who doesn't like it. Like that, I'm like, they're not worrying. They've got other worries about what they're going to eat tonight, but they're not worrying about like, oh, my hair like cut wasn't the way I wanted. Or like, you know, these little things that we work so much about. Oh, I haven't got a new car, I can't afford this. Like, okay, just let it go. Like everything else is carrying on. Like nature will continue to carry on. The world will continue spinning. Like your problems, like just they're not as big as we make them out to be. You know.
Yeah, so
That's
true. I saw this quote. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but it's basically like our time alone is still spent time with the world. And I was like,
I love that one.
And I was literally thinking that the other day. Like, I went for like a walk near where I was, like in nature, and I was like, oh, like I'm by myself right now. But then I saw a little ladybird on a leaf when I was like collecting elderflower season right now.
I love it.
And I was like, that's my little friend. Like I thought, like, do you know what I mean? Like even if I'm like by myself, I still have the trees around me. I have the flowers,
which are all breathing. Like they're all breathing, living things.
They all have life, and and then I like. I don't know, I just felt like so loved and like seen, and I feel like in nature there's no judgment either. Like you're just who you are. And
I love this. This is what I always say as well, like, there's no judgment. That's why I love having downtime in nature, because it's like it's a space where I'm like, okay, for once, like, you know, they're not judging me, I'm not judging them. Like, I'm just being like they are. And you know, with the ladybird thing, like, I do that a lot. Like, I'll be like, I don't know, maybe pissed off, and I go to a hill and I'm sitting down, and then like I see something, and it just snaps me up for something. I'm like, oh, okay, like what's this? Literally. And then I look at it, and like, I don't know the feeling. It's like the feeling of like this thing is looking at me. And I'm looking at it. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
We're seeing each other.
We're seeing each other.
We're having a connection right now.
Yeah, and then it crawls on me, and I do that with it, and I remember having this first feeling when like I was really little, and it was a school trip to the zoo, and there was like the primate section, so it was like the gorillas, and like these things obviously look so much like us. So when we look at them and then make eye contact, it's a weird feeling. You're like,
you're being perceived right now. Like, wow,
and I'm looking at something that looks just like me. Yeah. And now I get that feeling with almost everything I look at, because I've made the connection. Like, this thing is also, you know, another living thing looking at me. And I just get that really, like, in that moment, you're lost in that moment. Like, looking at it, looking at me, like, we're vibing right now. And then it'll fly off, and I'm like, okay, what was I thinking about? Like, But for that moment, I've had a break from those bad thoughts.
So true.
So I love that.
Yeah. I also feel like when we're in nature, we're really accepted in this space, and we're valued, and we value nature. Yeah. And it's just a space where, I mean, I know we've said it, there's no judgment, whatever, but we're, you know, there's complete and utter acceptance, and you're like, just, I don't know, you're just like a guest there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's so, you're just witnessing, and there's no judgment. Obviously, we said that again, but it's so nice. You can literally do anything, and there's like, here you go. This is your space as well. It's not like when you walk into, I don't know, an office and you feel like cold, hostile energy, or like school, and it's like kind of hostile and not not giving in any way.
100%.
Nature is
that's the end of that.
Yeah.
It's fine. It didn't hurt, guys. I'm okay. I swear.
Okay. Wait, let me just start again. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. Unless you want to keep that in.
I don't
Yeah, I love that.
Authentic. Keep it in. Sorry, babe. Yes,
No,
what were
it's
you
not your
saying?
fault. It's fine. Anyway, I was just trying to say that, you know, it's a place where everyone feels valued. You know, you can just walk into nature and feel valued and see its value. It's never anything more than that.
Yeah, there's no. You mentioned like going into like a school and feeling like you know you don't know if you belong and like these anxious feelings.
So you
And,
belong in nature.
Yeah, and like there's so many like we have so many of these structures that we grow up at, like school. You've got like going out with friends and maybe to the club or to the bars or maybe workplace in an office. All these spaces. I don't know about you, but sometimes they can be a bit of anxiety.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
although you can love all the people in there and it's like you go there every day and you're used to you go there and you feel a bit anxious. Like there's something, maybe because you're inside, I don't know, but you just feel anxious. But nature is one place where like, because there's not like lots of things judging you.
Yeah,
like,
there's no criticism. There's no criticism
you
as
could
well.
just be yourself, just chill out.
So
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a real
is.
natural vibe over here. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is obviously like we take a lot from nature. We feel good, we feel rejuvenated, like energy wise, but also in terms of like harvesting and like natural resources, we do take a lot from nature. And I think it's really important to give back to nature as well, in whichever way you can, like planting like wildflower seeds, or like planting general seeds, trees, all of that stuff. And I know that you do a lot of like community work and work like in allotments and stuff like that. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that and like how you give back to nature and your connection to that?
I feel like the first thing that I want to say about giving back to nature, it doesn't even have to be anything physical.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even have the means or access to like an allotment or they don't have a garden, whatever. I think first and foremost, and I think I said this before, it's like respect. Like that's the first like foundation we need to lay, is like just viewing nature in like a better light, respecting it, talking like highly of it. Like these things, like words are so powerful.
So true.
Like words are so powerful. So like just the way we like talk about nature, I think will then like have a knock-on effect and like change our attitudes to how we physically treat it. So number one, everyone respect nature. And then two, like if you do have the means and you do have access to like a green space or an allotment or like a garden, like start thinking like, okay, maybe like I love carrots. Like I'm gonna stop buying carrots from the supermarket. Let me start growing my own carrots. Like that's giving back to nature. You're helping soil, you're growing things, you're building a relationship with nature. Wait, what was the question? Like, just ways to give back, or
and like just
like
your
the
work
way,
that you do.
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah, me personally, so like the way I give back to nature as well is obviously like I actively try to do things to better the planet. So like my job, for one, like being a wildlife ranger, is all about like conservation, managing green spaces, you know, there's a lot, it's quite scientific as well, like studying like species, especially species that are in decline, so like birds, how can we help them? At the moment I do a lot of like nest box surveying.
Oh my god, I've seen it on your story, so
which
cute.
is like so cute, but obviously it's part of like a wider big kind of study, like to see like, you know, what's going on with our birds and why they're declining and what birds are nesting, why they're not successful. And so that's the way I give back, you know. I've basically dedicated my life to giving back to nature and helping nature because it's my job. So, but just for people watching, you don't have to do anything like massive, miraculous, or like even have to like have a career in conservation. I think number one, having respect and just being mindful of your actions. Like with everything you do, like does this serve or does it not serve nature? You know, especially being wasteful, we have to be like more conscious. I still waste a lot.
I feel like everyone.
We all do, but being conscious, you know?
No, so true. Even just like little things, like you said, obviously like the main detriment that's being caused is by like bigger companies and like, you know, massive oil spills and like waste being like burnt and like shipped over and all the carbon footprints, like it's crazy.
It's disgusting.
But I think it's so easy for that to just like create a fatigue in people and be like, oh no, I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to completely shut off. Whereas like, I think it's so important to just do the little things and like something that I've started to do, like when I go on walks or runs or whatever, and I see like rubbish or like little things, I'll just like pick it up and in the next bin that I see, just put it in the bin. And I know that's not like, I know that's not like solving the crisis, but you're doing a little thing. And if everyone does a little thing, like it's gonna be like a knock-on effect, like you said, you know.
And I think as well, like with eco-anxiety, it comes from like feeling like you have to solve like global issues, big global issues, which we as individuals like obviously don't have the power to do, unfortunately. So I think the most effective thing you can do, like Mia's doing, is like do things in your community, do things at your doorstep. Like don't think, okay, like I need to like travel across the globe and go save turtles in Costa Rica. Like you don't have to, you can go do that if you want. That sounds lovely, but you can also but just doing things within your community. If everyone did something in their community, in their like, you know, vicinity, then like we would have definitely like a better planet. So yeah, that's such a good point. And I think eco-anxiety, especially with social media, like there's just so much information. There's so many different types of like anxieties. Like eco-anxiety is just one. You can get anxiety about so many, especially as women. Like there's so much judgment. The way we look, are we pretty, are we thin, are we too fat, are we like it's just so much. And social media, there's just too much information. So look, it could be a really good resource. It's a powerful tool, but also when you just see like bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news, you can get anxious. So just find ways to like deal with that.
So true. I feel like also, especially if you have other stuff going on in your life, like say if you can't think about stuff like that, if you're literally just focused on getting food on the table, you've got 4 kids at home, like you need to, do you know what I mean?
Like, no, that's such a good point, you know. Because especially in like the conservation sector, it's a very privileged sector. Like you just said, I always say that if there was like a mum and she has like lots of kids to feed and she's working 3 jobs and she's a single mum, let's say, and she's living in a council estate, what is she gonna like? How she have the energy or time to care about like the squirrels in her garden, or like, you know, or the squirrels in the park, or like the birds declining? Like that's why it's kind of like environmental issues or social issues. We have to sort a lot of social issues before we can think about sorting out the environment and the planet. They go hand in hand, but that's such a good point to make, you know.
100%. I think our world, our society is not really set up to support people enough to allow them to feel that access to nature, and it's really sad. But I mean, there are small things like you've said that we can do, but at least that people can even feel like they have an impact. But that's why we wanted to talk to you, because we feel like you're showing a space where, you know, I didn't even think about, you know, what you're obviously not, I didn't think about what you're doing, but like I knew that stuff like that existed, but you're providing a platform for people to see. So please carry on doing what you're doing, because it is so amazing.
I'm so glad that you guys enjoy it. Just to see other young girlies like I was like,
it's a good space.
It's a really and so essentially that was basically what I was saying. That's all I was getting to.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad you guys enjoy. Like it's so, because I grew up not like being able to talk to other like young girls about like nature loving and like in a cool, accessible way. And like I said, it's like my first time like sitting in a podcast room and talking about. So like things are obviously shifting. Because the fact that I haven't done this before, I'm in my late 20s. Like the fact that I've never had this like space or opportunity or even courage to do it before shows that things are shifting. And the fact that a lot of people are interested, like it gives me hope. Because a lot of people that do follow me, they're not like nature lovers. Like they're not a particular like people who go out with binoculars or like they're not like in conservation or working in conservation. They're not zoologists or people that maybe have even gone to uni. They're just regular Londoners.
That's so important.
And they just want to see what
they just love the way I express my passion like and now they're sending me pictures of like pigeons or like ladies.
I know, I see that in your story and I'm like, I love that you're literally inspiring people to just like go out and like look and be perceptive and just like be part
over
of
the little things, you know, over London wildlife, over a ladybird, over a bird, like the fact that they're going out like, oh my God, like for me that gives me life, like that actually warms my heart so much. Like that's exactly what for me, I'm successful because of that. Like I don't need money or like more followers. Like, I'm just so happy that people are going out and connecting to nature.
That's the most important thing.
That's what I'm doing 100%.
And just think about all the people that you are inspiring that haven't said anything. You know?
Yeah, we always talk about that.
There's many people out there that are just silent admirers, or that have just seen one video and forgot to follow you or something, but that, you know, made them want to go out for a walk that day, and then
it's like
they fell in love with nature again.
Or then they tell their friend, or they tell their mom, or they tell their dad, or like, and that's it. Like, that's why It's about what we do, guys. We do. It's
changing
so
the world a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
That's it, in a cool way.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be
we're cool as
boring.
well, by the way. Promise. Promise we're cool.
Yeah, we're super cool over here.
No, nature is cool. Nature's like the coolest
coolest
thing in the
thing.
world.
But listen, and also that's where we get our creativity from.
Facts.
You know, I see birds with like long lashes. I'm like, oh my god, that's why.
Okay.
Or like eyeliner.
Yeah.
There's one of my favourite birds which you can find in London called the long-tailed tit, and it's like a little bird like this with a long tail. It's got like pink blush and it has like yellow eyeshadow.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is inspiration.
Stunning, gorgeous.
My next birthday, I'm gonna have yellow eyeshadow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh my
you
God,
should.
And
bird
pink cheeks.
inspired.
Yeah, innit?
Wait, what star sign are you?
Capricorn. What does this mean?
Earth
sign.
sign.
I'm a Taurus.
What is
Earth
that?
sign.
You're Earth as well.
Taurus, yeah.
Do you guys know
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
more about Capricorn? Can you tell me something?
Um,
I'm not a star. I don't know about.
So you're like grounded. My sister's a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I have a lot of earth signs in my life.
Yeah.
I'm an air sign, so like earth signs ground me.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, you. But to be fair, you also kind of give me. I want to know like your moon sign.
Yeah,
and
I
your
wanna
rising and
know
stuff.
your-
Because you
Oh,
also
is
give
it?
me
I
like
don't
Gemini
know.
a little bit because you're so like I don't
Is
know.
it?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I need to learn about all this stuff. I don't know
But,
anything
yeah.
about all
Yeah,
this.
Capricorns are very like grounded and they try to be like logical with stuff like that. I'm just thinking of my sister, but there's also like your actual sign is also super impacted by like your moon sign and stuff like that. So I'd have to
I
look
need
at your
find my
chart.
moon sign. Yeah. Does the moon sign change?
No.
No.
okay. I'm gonna find that out.
Yeah.
There's a list of a whole list of like planets that were in alignment when you were born. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's not just your sun sign, and yeah.
I need to learn more about
I'm
this,
not
you know.
like super well versed in it, hence why I can't tell you what exactly you are. But I just wanted to know quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt
It's
like
just interesting to know.
asking.
I asked and I have no idea about like star signs.
That's the thing. I'm not like a astrologist.
Astrology.
Yeah, I'm not like
Yeah.
super into it, and I'm not like, oh my god, 100% like that's true.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting and cute, and I love like
like,
reading my
learn about it.
horoscope. and
Sometimes
just-
they're really, really correct.
Exactly.
But then I feel like I read all of them and I'm like, they all.
Yeah, they're all weirdly resonant.
I'm like, what? I'm like, all this.
Well, we're not all one thing.
Yeah.
We're all many
True.
things.
Like, we're made up of many stars.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Have you got like a question? I feel like we're starting to wrap up.
Yeah,
a
I
little bit.
feel like we've had an amazing conversation and I feel like we've answered pretty much everything. Do you feel like there's anything else you wanted to say?
Well, yeah, I feel like our final question to you would be like, if you had advice for anyone out there right now, like trying to get more into nature and connect with themselves and stuff like that, what advice would you give them?
I would say, don't think too big. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. Like, just go to, like, if you've never visited your local park, like maybe go to your local park if you feel safe to do so. Like, go with a friend. Also, like, nature you can find everywhere, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's not so obvious. If you're walking down your street, which could be like pure concrete, like it could be a little wildflower that's poking up through the, and then you identify it. There's so many apps as well.
So true.
Yeah,
I've got
apps are
so
so
many
good.
as
the
well. And the bird
iNaturalist,
calling
the
apps
bird
as well.
calling Merlin is
Merlin?
really good. Merlin's really good, and iNaturalist. iNaturalist is good for like all wildlife. So if you do see like a little wildflower, like it could be like a rare wildflower, by the way, which you get. I'm not a flower girl, I don't know much about them, but I know you can find lots of rare stuff in London. So like, just get out your phone, identify things, and learn about. It could be the tree that you always walk past on your street as well. Learn like some cool facts about them. Because this is something that gives you life. Like learn about it.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Don't think too big. Just like, go and enjoy things that are close to you on your street.
Yeah. Amazing advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. And the conversation's been
Guys, thank you
so inspiring.
much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Where can people find you? Have you got anything you want to shout out? Any projects you're working on or whatever? Instagram? All
You can find me on Instagram, Outsidewithlira, and I post like all my shenanigans on there, like everything I'm up to. Do you know what? I'm taking it easy.
Yeah,
I've actually
good.
not got a lot of things coming up. I was like, this summer, I'm actually just going to try because summer's usually a time of lots of things going on.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm actually just going to try and take it really easy. So I'll obviously still be working outside. I'll be posting on Outside with Lira. But yeah, you'll tune into this podcast. Continue tuning into this podcast because it's really, really good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. This has been amazing.
Thank
really,
you.
Really good.
Catch you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Bye.